Hi, my name is Mark. This is my friend Doug. Welcome to episode 9 of Tint. There is no template. We really appreciate you guys tuning in again. Fairly soon, we're going to be putting out some projects that we had promised in the very beginning, but because of certain scheduling issues, we both work full time and the holidays came up, we were not able to put out the videos and things that we had promised, but they will be coming out. Yeah,
this is our year.
This is our year. It's going to be coming out shortly. Doug's going to be doing a podcast. I'm going to be doing a series of videos. Probably I'm going to attempt to do at least one a month, comedic / science related philosophy videos that everyone talks about. You know, those comedy, well, anyways.
Real popular. Right
yeah,
now.
Real popular. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're going to try to do as much as we can. We know this format is fairly static, just the two of us. You know, we're talking to the camera. But in the near future, we're going to try to liven things up. We feel that we have some insight, you know, something to bring to the universe. We're going to try to do this in a flashier manner. Let's call it flashier? Or more exciting way?
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
Better.
Welcome to episode 9.
And also, please subscribe. We want all of them. We want all the subscribers.
Subscribe as much as you can. Subscribe once, twice, 3 times. I don't know how it works.
Every time.
But just keep subscribing until you can't subscribe no more.
Tell the mailman.
Yeah.
Tell the person checking out your groceries.
Yeah.
Tell the Jehovah's Witnesses that come
Yeah, if the Jehovah's Witnesses want you on their team,
just be like, I'll hear you out, but each one of you has to subscribe
there you go.
to the Tin Podcast.
There you go.
Because these guys, you know, would really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
So we want all the subscribers. We just do.
We do appreciate everyone who watches, everyone who has subscribed.
Absolutely.
More than you know. We really do appreciate it. We've started out in a way that, you know, with the bare minimum, you know, video camera.
You start from the bottom and you work your way
and
up.
some ideas. And we're trying to do as much as possible with the time allotted. And we really do appreciate everyone who's watched and who's subscribed.
For sure.
So, Doug, how's your week? How's things? How you doing? How you and Tricks?
Tricks. I'm doing well. Just been watching a couple shows. I checked out the movie It 2.
Wow. That's a movie.
That's a movie that came out not too long ago that we saw. Let's talk about it a little bit. You know what's funny?
Movie?
Yeah, you know what's funny to me is most of our movie reviews will be like months behind.
Yeah. Because
I don't go to the movies.
Nope.
And I refuse to watch movies illegally.
Yeah. He's like a saint, but he's also like citizen
I
number
obey the law.
He does.
So when it comes out on video, then we can review the movie.
Not when it comes out on video. When it comes out on Netflix, because
No, I'll rent it. I'll rent it. So It 2.
All right. Let's do it.
What do you think?
It 2. It's a movie with people, and I'd say, yeah.
Okay. Interesting take you had there.
I know.
For me, it wasn't as good.
No.
It wasn't as good as
Not
part 1.
Nearly.
First of all, the chemistry of the cast.
Not there at all. Not there at all.
It was very forced.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They were all trying to be funny, like when they were at the restaurant or whatever, and they were just like, "Oh, loosey goosey, we're being funny," but it wasn't funny.
Can I say one thing?
It was forced.
Before you go on?
Yep.
Here's the problem. So let's say you're really good friends with someone. Then you leave, and you don't see that person for 30 years.
27 years.
Or whatever it is, and then you come back. You're not going to have that kind of same fun chemistry.
But that's the thing, yeah, you don't
it's
just
forced.
You don't just pick it up like that.
Yeah, you don't just pick it up like that. So clearly what's happening is they are trying to force something that's not there, because there's I don't know about you, but you know, in 27 years, you change, your ideas change, your personality changes,
Not
your
me.
view on the world. No?
Nope. Stayed
Wow.
the same.
Wow.
All my life.
You are very monotonous.
Stubborn, most people would say.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the whole point was that when they were in that Chinese restaurant and they were all just goofing around and this and that, it wouldn't have been that fun, for one, because
Yeah, it would
they
have been
came
more just
together
trying to figure out each
Yeah.
other. Hey, what do you got going on?
especially because the reason you're friends is because you fought a demon from outer space.
Sure. And on top of that, I have to say that, what's her goddamn name? Jessica Chastain.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. That performance was... Dude, when you watch the girl who was her, you know, in the first movie,
She's great.
she knocks it out of the park. She's great, at least. You know what I mean? Like, and even when they show, like, clips of the flashbacks or whatever, she still kills it. Jessica Chastain was just, like, there. You know? Like, the whole chemistry of the group was just not the same. It was very forced. She was just, like, you know, I expected her to be much stronger. A much stronger character. And she was kind of just there, like, oh, I've seen
Well, here's
us
the thing.
all,
I don't know.
Die.
Did
Like,
you read the book? Did you read the book?
I did read the book.
So in the book, does she have an abusive boyfriend later on?
Here's the thing.
Like in the movie? Because I know her father is abusive.
Here's the thing. Probably, but I read it a long time
I know,
ago.
I know.
It's 1,000+ pages.
Sure.
And I would say she probably did. But like it's like a cycle, you know what I mean? Having an abusive father, you end up in an abusive relationship.
Sure.
That part I really didn't take issue. It did get real crazy in that scene. You know what I mean? Like, out of nowhere, like, you've been with this dude for how long? And then you're like, oh, I gotta go back. And it's just like, you know, WWE fucking fight time.
Well, but he goes from being like the nicest guy in the world in the very like first few seconds to
Yeah.
like wanting to beat her to death. It's the strangest choice. Like,
It was
you know what I
weird.
mean?
I'm pretty sure she was in an abusive relationship, but the way they portrayed it in the movie was weird. And then on top of it, can I just say, I'm a little sick and tired. First of all, jump scares are cheap. We all know that.
Yeah.
If you like jump scares, sorry, but it's a cheap tactic.
Once in a while, it'll work. Like, no.
None of it.
Sorry, because there is a moment where a jump scare works, but it actually works better when it's a jump scare that's not the thing. It's a jump scare you feel because you're on the edge of your seat, and it's like I like a jump scare where it's the demon that pops out, but it's like your nephew that pops out and he scares you because you know what I mean.
That's a decoy jump scare.
Yeah, the decoy jump scare.
I don't like
I'm
any
into
of
the
it.
decoy jump scare.
I don't like any of it. And what I'm also very sick and
You just
tired
named
of,
that whole fucking. That's a whole.
The decoy jump.
Yeah, decoy jump.
right here, me. What I'm also very tired of is like looking one way. The characters like looking one way where they think like, well, there's something going on, and then they turn their head and there's the evil, there's the demon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They do that so much in this movie. Or like closing a mirror. You know what I mean? Like they're looking around, they close the mirror and it's right behind them. It's like, oh my god, dude.
Or how about
We've
the
seen it
CGI
so much.
nonsense?
That's the other thing. So much CGI.
Oh my god. The whole good thing about the first movie was the CGI had a purpose. It had a purpose.
They tried to limit it as much as possible.
Yeah. In one scene he was large and he came through the screen. In another scene he was like folded up inside of a refrigerator.
Yeah.
In this movie it's just CGI for CGI's sake. It's just like it's like JJ. I know you haven't seen the movie. I know you haven't seen the last Skywalker or the first Skywalker or whatever it's called.
The Return of the Skywalker.
The Return of the Skywalker Part 2. It's just so overblown and so unnecessary when you use CGI as a crutch. You know what I mean? Rather than having actual storytelling, actual character development, actual story arcs. You use instead just these visuals.
It's all bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's all bells and whistles that you're hoping will, because the audience nowadays apparently is so, has such a short attention span that any like little explosion or whatever, or just, oh my God, it's going to be so amazing. That's all they care about. They don't care about a character growing and changing. They don't care about a relationship, going through some sort of metamorphosis, or they don't care about, just the overall progression of not just the story, but the person that you're following. All apparently we care about is what's the next cool thing.
Cool visuals.
The cool visuals and guess what? You've just been tricked. Oh, this character's dead. No, wait a sec. He's not really dead. He's not really dead. Oh, well, now you're just cheating. Now you're just, basically, you've shown us that this character has been killed, knocked out of the game, but then at the last second he comes and he's the dose.
I hope that you're not revealing spoilers.
No, I'm talking about in
Ultimate Skywalker.
No, I'm not talking about, but whatever. Anyways.
Well, and I'll say this and I'll say it again. CGI in a horror movie, it just doesn't work. I'm not scared of cartoons, computer graphics.
No.
Like you blew it. You dropped the ball. They could have made it so much better if they would have just tweaked a couple things. Because I will say there are a couple of cool parts. But they went in a direction that I don't think, it was very dissatisfying. Because the first one, for a long time, Stephen King movies have been terrible. And, so anytime a Stephen King movie comes out, you're like, oh, okay. But this one, the first one,
was amazing.
Was, really, really good. I was like, oh, man, I'm excited for the second one. I should have known it was going to be a letdown.
Letdown. When The Shining is one of the great Stephen King films. I'm not talking about, whatever it is from the book, but it's one of the great Stephen King films.
Yeah.
And but because when you adapt something from a book to a visual medium, it's going to change.
But I think Stanley Kubrick had his own agenda. He was trying to tell his own story with
whatever
many layers.
The case might be.
So I don't know if that's a fair assessment, because he had his own thing he was trying to do. And Stephen King was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, but it's a great movie.
It's one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
The problem with adapting a Stephen King story is if you go directly with what's on the page, it's not always going to be successful. And the thing that they did, I think, very well with the first movie was they were faithful to the story.
They were faithful.
And yet they left out the unnecessary bits and did enough of the visuals without too much CGI, without too much, there's
very character driven.
In the book, they all have sex with this girl. There's a scene where every one of these boys has sex with this girl. They left it out.
Well.
Okay, and that was really good choice.
Yeah, probably should have never been in the book.
Yeah, but that was a really good thing for them to leave out, not even hint at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's fucking weird and gross. And
okay, whatever. When they hinted at the fact that the father was a sexual abuser, they did it in a tasteful way. You know what I mean? They did it without it being just overblown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing is, when you have that amount of ability to be discreet and to be sensitive, why can't you translate that to your second film? Because the first film had this just ability to do things in a way that was it wasn't hyperbolic, it wasn't overblown, it wasn't too much. Dude, and yet with the second film it's the exact opposite.
It was very character driven.
Yeah.
You gave a shit about the kids.
Yes, you
did.
did.
They had their own story.
Mm-hmm.
Each one was fleshed out pretty well. They had their own things they were scared of, and it really paid a nice homage to that. And the second one was just things were happening.
Yeah.
There was no depth to any of it. They just had their little situation. They left it to go fight this demon alien, and that was it, dude. There was no character depth at all.
The first movie was a good movie with a good story, and it had artistic purpose. The second movie was basically a movie that you just ate popcorn to and
It was
half
just
paid attention to.
your average monster flick.
Yeah.
And what about the Bowers? How terrible was that?
What do you mean?
The kid who was the bully, and then he went to the mental institution,
Yeah.
and then he escapes as an adult. That was one of the worst story arcs I've ever seen. Like, that was really bad. Like, he barely... Why did you even have it?
Well, it seemed forced in rather than it being a natural part of it, because it was...
In the book, it all works. It all works.
No, I agree that,
They dropped the ball in the second movie.
It was not as good. It was definitely not as good. What else were we going to discuss? We're going to discuss, I think, either is a television show or a movie. What was it?
Well, I want to talk about a television show.
Sure.
HBO, The Righteous Gemstones.
Mm-hmm.
This is Danny McBride's third HBO show. And I got to tell you, this is Danny McBride. I hope he's a good guy in real life, man, because I am a fan. He started with Eastbound and Down. Killer show, hilarious, right? He plays the asshole character. Then he does Vice Principals. Somehow plays the same character in a different setting.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. And
It was a funny show.
2 seasons of that, and now he's got this Righteous Gemstones. The first season already finished, but
I haven't seen the show.
dude,
but
you got to check it out. It's hilarious. They're televangelists and or they're in a mega church.
Sure.
And he's the same character again, yet somehow it works. And it's so funny, dude. It's so funny. He is like knocking it out of the park, and I really hope he's a good guy because the shows he puts out.
You're right. He plays the same character, but he does it so well. He
works in each situation.
Yeah. Well, that's why like things like the Marx Brothers. That's why Groucho could be Groucho in every movie, and yet it worked because that character has that certain panache.
He kind of has that going, yeah.
And he's got the same thing. We were going to talk about something else, though. I thought maybe
check out The Righteous Gemstones.
No, I will agree with you.
You too.
I need to do that.
Hilarious.
I need to do that as well.
The Witcher.
Okay, yeah, The Witcher. The Witcher.
Netflix.
It was done by this Polish guy. It was written by this Polish guy, so I'm already proud because I'm Polish. Because I'm Polish and he's Polish, I get a right to be proud. Isn't that how it works? Or because I had nothing to do with it and no connection to it, and just the fact that we came from the same land.
The motherland.
Yeah, does that have... So I guess I really don't have any reason to feel proud?
Well, we like the Bears.
Yeah, but
when they won the Super Bowl,
well, that's
that was
different.
cool.
But yeah, I have no reason to be proud, and I have no reason to even... Because I'm pretty sure the show's gonna be bad. Because I watched the first 2 episodes, and it's already
you watched the first 2?
Yeah. And it's kind of lame. It's kind of lame, except, and I'll let you pick up on that one.
The goddamn fight scene. Holy shit! In the first episode.
Man!
Dude. I haven't seen a fight scene like that. I don't even know, man.
Dude, that was
like...
It was flowing. It was without too many cuts.
Shit going on. Yeah. Story-wise, because I've seen the first half of the season.
Okay.
I think there's going to be 2 halves. I don't know. It's worth watching. It's not the best story, but there's cool stuff that happens, so I'll say that.
The characters seem all too pretty and all too perfect. Sorry.
Well, it became a video game, and I don't know
if that
they're going more off the video game than the story.
I think they are.
I don't know. I never read the book or played the video game.
I hear the books are actually good. I hear the books are...
I heard the video game was really good.
I hear both of those are good. Why isn't the show good?
You've only seen 2 episodes.
Yeah, but I already got a good taste of what's to come. Like when I saw the second episode of Game of Thrones, I was already hooked. I watched the first episode. I actually watched the first episode when it came out. I watched the first episode. By the second episode, I was like, hey, this show has some potential. These characters, there's a couple pretty ones, right? There are a couple pretty people, right? But then there's also people who look regular, like normal people, and
They're trying to make The Witcher like the new Game of Thrones.
I know they're trying, but that's the mistake.
But Game of Thrones was so complex, so intricate, and this is not that. But that fight scene, boy, let me tell you, there was some sword play going on.
Dude, that was so amazing.
Dude, it was pretty cool, pretty ridiculous. So
even when he's fighting the girl, because he fights like a group, and then he fights a girl. And when he's fighting the girl, and even their little banter in between when they're fighting, it's... Why couldn't the whole show be like that?
Seamless.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah. So, alright, that's our little banter.
That's based on, like, Slavic legends. So, like, there's a lot of Slavic legends about, like, people with mystical powers who go out and fight monster-like fucking creatures and, whatever it is. And that's, like, throughout, like, Eastern Europe, Russia, and all those, even into, like, Turkey and all those areas, there's, like, stories that basically come from, like, Greek mythology, where there's, like, these monsters, and then there's, like, defenders of it.
Of course.
It went from being the gods to being, like, regular people who knew how to use magic and knew how to use...
They had the knowledge of the gods.
Dracula comes from that area of the world. Frankenstein sort of comes from that area of the world. All these things come from a certain part of the world because that was seen as, like, these dark areas where, people had, like, these old traditions and old, customs.
Ceremonies.
Yeah. It was when Christianity got mixed with paganism, and it was just the beginning, like, stuff
Christianity took on a lot of pagan.
Of course, and that's why, especially even now, like in South America, you have like what are essentially pagan rites or rites, whatever, ceremonies that come from, like, the Inca, the Maya, all kinds of, like, other indigenous tribes that were incorporated into Christianity.
A lot of sacrificing going on back then.
There was a lot of sacrificing. And I think that if this show had focused a little bit more on that history, I think it would have been a lot richer than just, you know what I mean? And that's what I think Game of Thrones did without, like...
At first.
Yeah.
For a long time.
For a long time. Well, we're not talking about the last 2 seasons. We're talking about the first.
When it was the best show ever.
When it was the best show ever, and then things happen.
Yeah. Alright, so let's start the show.
Well, now we're going to start the show.
Because that was our intro banter.
Yeah.
Now let's start the show.
Alright.
And you got a topic that you want to talk about.
I want to talk about climate change. I know it's very popular now. Greta Thunberg has brought it into the light, because before Greta, we didn't know there was climate change.
I'd never been scolded before.
Yeah.
Like I've been scolded by
Dude,
Greta.
I will tell you, she did a hell of a scolding.
She got a mean scold.
Hell of a scolding.
Hell of a scold.
And I will say this, that I appreciate very much the passion that she has, because one of the few things that should unite us as people is the fact that we live on a planet that anytime it can get destroyed, it can get... So many horrible things can happen. But the fact that we ourselves are destroying the place we live should give us pause. The fact that there's a handful of people who live like kings and who just have everything they want just because they're the owner class, and the rest of us...
Family bloodlines.
Yeah, family bloodlines, financial stakes and things, and the consolidation of power. It's always been like this. Before they were called kings and they were supposedly divine. Now they're not kings, they're not divine, but they have so much wealth that they're beyond kings. They have so much more power and so much more influence because of the way we have structured our society. When you look at what's happening in Australia, and you see the terrible things that are happening there, but, on the other hand, you realize that people have been arrested for setting more fires, because apparently the horrific fires that were going on weren't enough. Let's destroy more to make this climate change look more cataclysmic. Like, we're in Chicago,
See,
right?
That's troubling because now they're pushing an agenda.
Yeah, now they're pushing an agenda, but look at what's happening in Chicago this year, right? This is not typical of a winter in Chicago. It's been very warm, very mild. But that doesn't really mean anything, because we can always have a mild winter in Chicago. That's not a big deal.
4 in a row. Last year was kind of rough.
We've had mild winters.
4 years before that were smooth.
The problem is that there is a trend. Climate change doesn't just like happen like 1 year. Oh, okay, now it's going to be climate change. It's going to be 80 degrees in the winter and 150 in this. That's not how it happens. It's a slow progression. Pretty soon, the oceans are going to rise. The salinity is going to go down.
How soon?
More species. I'd say in the next 50 years. 50 years.
We'll see.
Well, we will see. And that's going to be the problem. When you see people who are in difficult spots, why do you think that the people in the Middle East are building all these mega cities there? Are they building these mega cities because they think that the oil is going to last forever? Or are they building it because... Why?
Go ahead.
No, tell me.
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying they're doing it in China too. They have cities that they've built that nobody's in, that eventually people are going to go to.
Well, China's a way different story. China is...
China.
So... They look forward in a way that Americans don't. Americans have a history of 200 years. China has a history of close to 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay? So when they look forward 100, 500 years. When Americans look forward, they look forward 5, 10 years. It's a huge difference between the way our cultures view the world. What is going to happen in the near future is there is going to be an increase in temperature, which is going to mean that there's going to be higher levels of oceans, more salinity. The salinity of the ocean is going to go down. A lot of species are going to die off. Now that has happened before, many times. The difference is, right now we're living through it. There is a theory, and I think I told you about this, I don't think you've watched the video yet, that we've gone through this before. Human beings have been around at least 100,000 years. But then why does history only go back 5,000 years? If there have been Homo sapiens like us for the past 100,000 years, why is it that we don't have a written record from, let's say, 70,000 years ago?
It's almost like someone's trying to hide it.
There is a theory put forth by someone who's actually a well-respected specialist in the field, who believes that the way we move through the solar system, the way our solar system moves through our galaxy, at certain points in time, we're more prone to getting struck by asteroids, we're more prone to different gravitational pulls, we're more prone to disasters happening. And so, if you look at the mass extinctions, when you look at climatic events, when you look at mass devastation, you see there's like a period of every 20 to 30,000 years where there's a fairly big event, and every 70 to 100,000 years there's an even bigger event. So what could have happened is, many times in the past there were civilizations on the brink, but they were basically wiped out. What we're about to see is an event that we have caused ourselves. It's not an asteroid from outer space that's going to hit us. It's not changes in our world that's creating more volcanoes, and it's not like a gravitational pressure that's squeezing the earth, creating more volcanoes. What's going to happen is something that we have created. We have set this into motion through the way that we live. We create more garbage, like, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, when you went to, like, get meat or something, you might put it in a piece of paper and give it to you, right? Now you have, like, the plastic in the back, you have the foam, you have double plastic, you have the sticker, you have this, that. all that goes into the garbage. Or when you eat like...
Yeah, but why is that though?
What do you
Who
mean?
does that come from? That comes from people at the top making us do this. You know, I'll go to the store and I'll buy one thing, and the receipt will be this long.
Mm-hmm.
Why is
and
that?
then it's in a plastic bag, which is in a plastic container, which is in you know what I mean? It's
Wow.
so much extra stuff which you really don't need. And then where is all that going? It has to go somewhere into some landfill, and when that material is created and becomes plastic, it has less ability to degrade and less ability to basically, you know, if you're not recycling that material, it's not going to decompose in the same manner that, let's say, paper would, or some other organic substance.
Okay, let me give my 2 cents on
Go
this
ahead.
whole climate change thing.
Go ahead.
Okay,
That's your turn.
So before, it was called global warming because the Earth was heating up. And so they're like, oh, Al Gore. First of all, if Al Gore is pushing something, I'm a little skeptical. Sorry. And then on top of it, the Earth started cooling down. So, well, it's not global warming anymore. Let's find the one thing, let's find the one phrase that can cover it all. No matter what happens on the Earth, we can cover it all. Climate change. Perfect. So anything that happens, we can say, oh, it's climate change, oh, we did it. Because this is natural. This is mostly the Earth just naturally going through its cycle. Okay? We don't help. We do a lot of shit that's, you know, not great for the environment. But this place is huge. Okay? It's doing it naturally. And the whole thing that they're pushing, first of all, Greta Thunberg or whatever, it's just a system puppet. It's just some girl that they say, hey, say these things and look real angry and tell everybody how shitty they are. She's it's another system puppet to come and push this agenda. What are they doing? They're going for a carbon tax. Okay? So no matter what, we got to pay taxes because we're such assholes that we're ruining the planet, and this carbon tax will help. But they can't even fix the potholes down the street. They're going to fix the planet with a carbon tax? Are you kidding me with this shit? So what they're doing is they're taking a natural event. They're saying they're putting it all on us, like we're the assholes. Now we're going to have to pay. A carbon tax will come, and there you go. It'll never go away. And no, whatever happens, happens. But I think it's you know, a load of horse shit.
Okay. You know, I don't think Greta Thunberg is a system puppet.
You think she's
any more
real?
than you are
You
a
think she's
system
real?
puppet. Well,
You think she's real and legitimate?
I mean, are you a system puppet? You're clearly a system puppet because you believe.
Out of the two of
that there's a
us,
system.
you're definitely the system puppet.
Okay.
You definitely were just saying
I'm the
that
system
we're destroying the planet, we're doing all
I'm the
this.
system puppet.
That's what a system puppet says.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I didn't call you
You
that.
make a decision.
I didn't call you that.
make
I
a
called
decision.
Greta Thunberg
You make a
that.
decision what a system puppet
You-
is. So you're the one who makes the decision? Okay, so...
No,
I
that's my
appreciate
opinion.
that. I appreciate
That's my
that.
opinion.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's your opinion.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your opinion. Okay?
Mhm.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. I feel that you have a certain agenda that you're trying to push, and therefore...
What is the agenda that I'm pushing?
You're pushing an agenda that we're not responsible for this planet. It's a big planet. It's like, how can we be doing, you know, there's infinite resources. The ones at the top are controlling us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making us think that we're responsible, even though
Yeah.
that we're not really responsible for the place we live. If we live in a shit neighborhood that's dirty, it's the ones at the top who are manipulating us into making it dirty and shitty rather than our own responsibility.
So you don't think the ones at the top push agendas that we have nothing to do with?
Yeah.
You don't think that?
But then...
You don't think it's weird
Just
that
because
we're born into a place
someone-
that we had no say in or whatever? We're just born into this place and now we have to pay to live on this place? But you don't think that's...
What do you mean? You don't have to pay to live on this place.
Well, sure, you could be homeless.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
that would suck.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You're talking about like you have to. You don't.
If you want to
Have
live
to.
and eat, you have to make money and pay.
No, you could go live somewhere in a forest and you could grow your own food. You're talking about living in a society.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. When you live in a society and you have shitty people who don't give an F about the environment, all they care about is making profit. All they care about is how much money they're making.
Okay, so
do you think they're going to do things
when the
maybe?
carbon tax comes, who's going to get taxed? Those corporations that do all that shit? Or
No,
us?
it's the people.
Yeah, everybody.
The people are going to get taxed.
Exactly.
Because then the prices are just going to go up, right?
It's bullshit.
But here's the thing. Like, let's say you're somebody who doesn't really care about the environment, or someone who doesn't care about the place that you're in, and you just like pollute. But then someone comes in and says, hey, well, if you put all this crap on the ground, you're going to have to pay me $10, right? Mm-hmm. Then you might say, well, okay, I won't put the crap on the ground. I'll put it in a garbage can. And that way I don't have to pay the $10. Mm-hmm. Because that is the incentive for human beings. It's money. Money is always the incentive for human beings. Because no matter where we live, any dictator in a country still wants a lot of money. Because when he leaves the country, he wants the money. Because money is going to be accepted whether he is in some third world country or whether he's in a first world country.
Obviously.
Okay?
Yes.
He'll be able to buy a house.
Of course.
That's why he can't just print a whole shitload of money in his country and be like, I got a whole shitload of money in my country. Because then the value will go down. And the other country will be like, well, your money is worthless to us. Mm-hmm. That's why we have to, as a society, agree that, okay, these things are good, these things are bad, but the problem with it is that we live in the sort of society where most people are oblivious and ignorant. They look at these videos about, like, who's got the cool shoes, or who's got, oh, they got a new house, oh, they got the way to put on makeup, oh,
That's distraction.
It's all distractions from the reality.
That's why we'll never come together as a society, because they give us all this other stuff to just focus on instead of the real issues. While the people at the top, they're the ones that make all the decisions. There's no society coming together. It's them just running shit. Okay? So, when this carbon tax comes, it's going to hit us all. Mm-hmm. And the corporations will just get away, they'll just make their money like they always do.
The problem with us pumping gases into the atmosphere, especially carbon dioxide, is it is a greater greenhouse gas than the gases that are currently in the atmosphere. When you have more CO2, it's a greater greenhouse gas. It keeps more of the energy in. It keeps the planet warmer. By keeping the planet warmer, you therefore melt more ice. When you melt more ice, there's more darker spots. When there's more darker spots, the place gets even hotter. It's what's that called? It's like a cycle. It's like a and then it keeps going and going and going. It's not something that you have to be like a genius to realize it. When you have this system that basically just keeps delivering more and more energy into our atmosphere, I think you understand that if you have more carbon dioxide, right? Mm. You have a warmer planet. When you have a warmer planet, you have more ice melting. The more ice that melts, you have a darker, you have darker regions because you have more dirt showing in this.
Just said all this.
Yeah. So
I just think they conflate the numbers. I don't think that the
inflate or conflate.
Whatever it is, whatever you want. They're lying. Let's say that. They're lying.
Okay. Everyone lies about everything. So then why do you believe certain things?
I mean, like what?
You have certain beliefs.
What it is. Depends on what it is.
But why do you believe that, that they're lying to us, for instance?
Well, they've lied to us a lot before.
Okay.
And, that's a whole other subject that we could get into,
sure.
And I'm prepared to get into that.
Well, let's not do that this time.
We're not doing that this time, but that's why I believe that.
Okay.
Because they've lied to us a shitload of times.
Okay.
Okay? So why would the lies end? Where does it end? well, they only lied to us about this stuff, but this stuff they're telling the truth about.
So who's telling the truth? The government, who says that there is nothing wrong, there is no, there's no danger of global warming, or are the scientists lying? That they say, the evidence is there, we see that there's a change, so who's lying? The government is lying that says there's no problem?
The government very often lies, and scientists have said that, we've been to the moon. So, alright, so climate change, bad?
Yeah, we're never going to agree on it.
We're not going to agree. We have our own views.
Yeah, but I appreciate the arguments, and I really do. I really do. You might think I don't, but no, I appreciate discussing it with someone, especially someone who doesn't see things eye to eye. I think that's a lot of times the problem with our society is we can't discuss things without someone just being like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Once someone has a different point of view, then it becomes like, oh, I can't even hear this.
Yeah.
Like, hear it.
It's true.
Hear all of it. Yeah.
That's my problem with social justice warriors. Even though every one of those words I agree with, except maybe the warrior, but I agree with society, I agree with justice, I even agree with the warrior part. But I don't agree with the fact that if you're someone so entrenched in a certain ideal or a mindset that you can't hear the other side, then what's the point?
You're an asshole.
Yeah, the whole point should be you should be able to change someone's mind with your ideas, right? The Socratic method is based upon purely questioning another person, but not just questioning that other person. I think a lot of people don't realize this, but the Socratic method isn't just asking questions, it is helping the person with their argument. You can't just question what they're saying. Part of it is also you have to help the other person articulate what they are trying to say. That is the true Socratic method.
Sure.
So if someone is unable to completely verbalize or to expound on their argument, you should be able to help them with that. And that makes a sound discussion and a sound debate.
Sure.
All right?
Yeah.
So, sorry, but I needed to say that. Go ahead.
All right, so moving on, I just wanted to get to a couple of things we talked about in the last episode and close out on that, and that is Jeffrey Epstein. Again, he is, so...
Yeah, he is,
He's a whole thing.
He's
right?
a thing. He's a thing.
What I want to talk about is the fact that he got busted in 2000, I don't know if it was 6 or 7, but he got convicted in 2008. He was convicted for, he would get massages by underage girls.
Yeah, but he was convicted of a lot more than just
who were prostitutes, right?
Yeah.
And an underage child can't be a prostitute. It's a goddamn rape slave. So, that's what he got busted for. That's what he got convicted of. In 2008, he had to do 13 months. By the way, he was getting these underage girls to give him massages and whatever would happen, right? And then he would tell them, he would pay them to get more underage girls. So he had this cycle going on. And then he got busted in Florida, and here comes his conviction. And they really hit him with the book because he had to do 13 months in a place that was probably like a country club, but
like he had minor security.
He had extended work release, so he was free to go wherever he wanted to go whilst in prison, and then he would just go there to sleep.
Yeah, he'd go to prison and he'd have to sleep in prison and just be like, and then the next morning he'd have to get up and be like, I gotta go to work.
I'll see you guys in 12 hours. I promise I'm not gonna bang underage kids. I promise that's all done. So there he was doing that, and then so this whole like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and all these people that
they were just coincidental friends.
For 11 years, he was a convicted sex offender.
Wow!
Right? So when Prince Andrew's like, I went to the island, I didn't see nothing. There was nothing. Yeah, but your boy was still a convicted sex offender. Okay? So, maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't be friends with someone who was banging underage kids.
Constantly.
But not just once or twice. It wasn't like...
His plane was called the Lolita Express,
Yeah.
for Christ's sake.
How old are you? It wasn't that. He was actively looking for these underage kids. So all them that want to, backpedal and be like, oh, I didn't know. Yeah, but you knew he was a sex offender. You knew he was banging underage kids. You knew that shit. You knew it, and you didn't care.
But let's say, I'm going to pull up a random situation, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you might not agree with it, nobody might agree with it. I don't even agree with it.
I probably won't.
But let's say he met a girl.
Yeah.
She told him she was 18. She turned out to be 17. And then he was in the news for having sex with an underage girl because she was blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Then in itself would be like, whoa, that's a little too much. Come on, why did you do that? You had sex. And you'd be like, oh, okay, I have an argument here. And I'd be like, okay, maybe, sort of. But that's not at all what happened. There were like 14, 13, 15-year-olds who he was paying and who were constantly coming over.
Yeah.
There was a reason it was called the Lolita Express. And every, like, the president, Andrew was like, just cruising around.
And the other thing, too, is like, as a 50-year-old at that time.
Yeah.
Because he was 66 when he got busted.
Sure.
This time, so he was like 55.
Okay.
54. Why are you trying to bang 18-year-olds?
Yeah.
As you get older, that age limit should rise.
A little bit at least.
Like, make them drinking age at least. You're trying to go for... At least they can share a drink with you. But now they can't even smoke.
No, they can't even smoke.
So,
For the love of God.
that's disgusting. And I just want to point that out, that they all want to be on their high horse. Like, I didn't know anything was going on. But, yeah, he been a sex offender for 11 years before he... And by the way, when he got busted, I knew for sure, that trial was never going to see the light of day. I knew it. Because he had so much dirt on so many
people.
Powerful people.
Yep.
Important people. There's no way that shit was going to go down. And it didn't. And he just killed himself.
Yeah. Nobody batted an eye. It's just like, oh, well, the guards were sleeping at the time. No, that's not what happened. The guards were either ordered to leave, they were paid off, or something even more horrendous, they were threatened. But this guy was going to end up dead no matter what. Because there were so many important people who love to have sex with young girls and boys.
I'll tell you this.
Now you're cutting me off.
I know, sorry. But
You're a son of a
personally,
gun.
I'm a son of a gun. I don't even think that he's dead. Because he had so much dirt on so many people.
Yeah, that they left him alive.
What happens when you want to live and you've got all this dirt on all these people? It's called a kill switch, right? If you kill me, I got somebody
put out all the
who's
information.
going to put
all
out
the pictures,
videos and all this shit of all these people that are going to go down. So
If he had the video and the pictures,
he had it all.
I don't know. This guy knows everything.
I don't know.
Apparently. Then tell us.
He had his whole New York place, the islands, the Westworld place, all of it video
Yeah, he was living in Westworld practically.
So he was recording all this shit.
Do you think that's true?
That he was living in Westworld?
No, that he had these things recorded.
Of course it's true.
Because if, let's say, because he had connections to Mossad, he had connections to gangsters, he had connections to so many things.
Social elites.
Yeah.
Billionaires.
If he had these people
Politicians.
coming in, having sex, and he had them recorded, I mean...
That was his get out of jail card.
If he was, here's the thing, is he smart enough to make the copy of that?
All reports say that he was dumb.
Or is the agency, let's say Mossad, or let's say whatever service, are they the ones who are in control of all those videos?
Who knows? Who knows there?
Because those videos exist.
But I do know, 100%.
They
I
do.
do know that however dumb he was he was smart enough.
We're going to be dead after this episode. If we die after this episode,
First of all,
for the love of God, you know it's not a mistake.
I'm happy in my life, and I never want to kill myself.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not happy in my life, but I still don't want to kill myself. so you know it's all BS.
Yeah. Whether, you know, I think he was smart enough to understand that he was working with these top-level people.
Yes.
And taking videos of them to understand that I need the ultimate blackmail. I need to protect my life, and if something happens to me, all this shit's coming out. So
Yeah,
how hard is it to really hide someone? Put somebody in a
that's not the point.
remote island
Yeah,
where
course.
nobody will
No.
ever see them
Hiding
again.
someone is no problem, especially if you're like, you know, a big player.
My
you know
opinion,
what I mean?
yeah, and he had Bill Clinton, you know, painting of him in a dress. So who has the real power here? My opinion is he's still alive.
I think he's dead. I will say no.
Can we agree that he didn't kill himself? Do you think that he killed himself?
Here's the thing. No. I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure he did. It wasn't just like a lapse. Okay, I'm not saying he didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
All right, because I don't know, but
No,
there's like a 90% chance that somebody either came in, like you said, and freed him. But I think there's a bigger chance that people looked away while he was murdered. Okay.
You see,
And tortured.
That's the narrative that most people go to. Most people are very sure, or you know, their opinion that he didn't kill himself.
Right.
So then the next leading thing is someone went in and killed him.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is what they would want us to believe.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, he's still alive somewhere, continuing to do the heinous shit that he used to do.
I don't think that's the case. I think that he's dead. I think that if that were the case, somebody would say something, because there would be no body to autopsy. There'd be no body to, you know, somebody would blow the whistle if you were right. Okay, somebody would.
I disagree. And so the last
I know you think everybody's these secret societies are so perfect.
Yeah.
They're so just they'll never get anything wrong.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I know how to keep a secret. I know a lot of secrets about
Not me.
friends and
I told
family.
you. Remember,
You
Billy?
run your mouth.
You murdered that fucking guy down at the 7-Eleven.
You're yelling. So,
all right, yeah.
in my ear.
So not to yell. Billy murdered a human man.
But here's the thing. Since they know that you can only run your mouth, they're never going to tell you the secrets.
Well,
They'll tell me, because I know how to keep a secret.
Yeah,
and the last thing I want to say to close out this ridiculous Epstein shit is that in his New York home, he lived right across the street from
Billy Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
It's a pretty pops.
He lived right across the street from Bill Cosby, so that's the last street if you're an underage female
that you want to end up on,
or a female to just walk down the street. And my wife, Jenny, her joke was avoid all lemonade stands. Because he's going to put the bing and bop and the bing, and then you're going to... Who knows whose house you're going to end up in? You know what I mean? I've said my piece on Epstein. You got a story.
I got a story.
You got a story, and then I got one more major topic.
I wanted to tell you the story before. I don't think a lot of people have heard this. All right, and that's you know, there are a lot of people telling stories about this, then, you know, but then I think this gets lost. I think this gets lost in the news, and I don't think a lot of people care, because, you know, it's about two cats, and it's like, well, what? Oh, we're gonna care because two cats? And they're like, yeah.
Most people are dog people.
Most people are dog people.
Mm-hmm.
But tell you the story. This is what happened.
Okay.
I think the year was 1946. There were two cats.
Just after the war.
It was just after the war. Two cats. There was a cat living in England and a cat living in France. And the cat in England, you know, he called himself 123 Cat. You know, 123 Cat, and he's, you know, he's living, he's drinking his pints, and right. And then there was a cat living in France, so he was like, well, 123 Cat. Hell, I'll call myself un, deux, trois, cat. You know, he's like, I'm French, I'll do this.
So they were rivals.
Yeah, they were rivals, you know. She's like, oh. And then, you know, a lot of them, you know, they were hanging out the bar, you know, chit-chatting and stuff, you know. Not a lot of people realized it, but yeah, they could talk. But more importantly, they could swim. So one of the cats is like, well, what's he saying? He says he's better than me? What's he talking about? He's better? He said, apparently, on du toit, in France, he's like, oh, I can swim the English Channel. I could swim. I'll swim any Englishman, and I could swim the Channel. It's easy for me. And, you know, the British cat here, they're just like, what do you mean? What's he saying? What's he saying?
I'm listening, keep going.
Yeah. He's like, I could outswim any cat from England. And so, you know, the cat in England, he got incensed. He is mad. He is just like pissed off. He's like, no, I could swim the English Channel before that pansy in France can. And so it became like a whole thing. Not a lot of people knew this. It was just after the war. They were mad. They were mad at each other. Like, you know, this was a thing, right? And then, you know, people started carrying signs and started
Magic versus Bird.
Oh man, it was like Magic. It was like Jordan versus somebody else.
The world.
The world. It was a thing, and so they decided to have a race. And you know. The British cat, he's like, okay, we'll start in England. And then we'll swim to France. And the French cat's like, no. I don't think so. We start in France and we'll end in England.
And the French cat definitely smoked.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think so. Because he was puffing.
Yeah, he puffed.
We
didn't inhale.
Yeah. And there's like, no. So what they decided was they would swim to the opposite coasts. The French cat would swim from Brittany in France to England. Mm-hmm. And the English cat would swim from England to France. Right? Okay. And it was the event of the decade.
Everybody was there.
You know.
Fuck the war. This was the event.
The war was over. This was the thing that was about to happen.
This was the event.
This was a year after the war. Everybody gets, you know, they got together. And, you know, everybody's like, you know, to the British cat, it's like, Mike, you gonna do it. You're gonna get there. And they're like, you know, they're massaging him. Oh, Mike. And then in France, they're like, oh, c'est fatu. Sacre bleu. They're massaging him.
I have no idea where this story's going.
Anyways. So, 1, 2, 3, cat. You know, as he liked to call himself. Mm-hmm. He took off from England. And he's in the water, and he's pounding away. He's just like, come on, just, The French cat he's sitting on the coast. He's like, they're like, 1, 2, 3, cat, he's already in the water. He's like, it don't matter, I will beat him no matter what. He puts out the cigarette. Gives a thumbs up to his crowd in France and gets in the water.
Everybody went crazy.
Everybody goes nuts. They're like, oh my god. Sacre bleu, as you say. He gets in the water and he's like, whoo. And they get into the middle. And they're in the middle of the English Channel. And they're passing each other. And all of a sudden, they pass each other. And what you call it, 1, 2, 3, cat is swimming. And 1, 2, 3, cat, he pulls himself up on shore. And he's like, what happened? And he's like, everybody's like, oh my god. He's like, what happened, mate? What happened? It's like, you're the winner. I'm the winner? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, cat won. But why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude.
That was for you, my friend. That was for you.
That was for me?
That was for you.
Oh, shit. I didn't ask for it, but alright. That was a long...
That was a long story, right?
Yeah, that was a build-up for...
For a very small payoff. If any. Alright, what should we talk about now?
Okay, let's... Woo! Woo! I got it.
Alright.
That was something, what just happened right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. Alright, I'll just leave it alone. I'll just leave it alone.
Sorry.
Alright, so here we go.
Hey, I had my little moment. I'm happy.
Here's our last major topic
Alright, let's talk about this for real. This
of
is
the
not
evening.
Yeah. This is not even a joke. This is a horrific thing.
Oh, we're gonna get fucking dark right now. Alright, so, Boy Scouts of America. So, I believe it was somewhere in the summer when they pretty much filed for bankruptcy on account of all the lawsuits over pedophilia, the scout leaders, molesting, banging kids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so, just yesterday, or maybe earlier this morning, we have a story from Buffalo, New York, where 10 Boy Scout leaders have been accused of sexually abusing children in 11 Child Victim Act lawsuits filed in Western New York against the Boy Scouts in the past 3.5 months. So basically what this story is, these 10 Boy Scout leaders, there's like 61 lawsuits. And they range all the way back to 1958. Why so long? Because they had a statute of limitations where, yeah, I know you were molested and you were banged, but you didn't say nothing after,
Really?
what, like 10 years? Yeah, never mind. Can't prosecute him. Yeah, that's what that's all about.
No, but that's insane. There's a few things there should not be statute of limitation on, like rape, murder, child molestation.
The doy. But there was on child molestation. Now here, let me say this. Okay, let me say this. Way back in the first episode, I did talk about doing my own side show conspiracy stuff that I would put on this channel. Then YouTube decided to block people's First Amendment and just take down videos that they didn't like. Wipe out channels. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to put my conspiracy show on this channel. You know?
I don't care if you do. I mean, I'm going to put my stupid stuff on
That's
that.
fine, but I say the wrong thing that isn't even bad, and somebody somewhere is like, oh, that can't be said, so wipe the whole thing. No, I'm not going to do it. So now what I've been thinking about doing is my own podcast.
I hope it's successful.
I'm just going to do it, and, you know, we'll see what happens, and it's not...
I'll get a
it's
joke
most
ready
likely
for yours.
not going to be on YouTube, but maybe I will, you know, but it'll be its own separate channel.
Yeah.
And the thing is, one of the first things that I want to get into is, see, so, you know, I watch videos, conspiracy shit, I'm into the Mandela effect, I research these topics, I look into this, I look into that, and in my head, I think that everybody knows about this stuff, right? So I'm like, oh, since I know this, like, oh, I could just talk to anybody, and but most people don't, okay? So the reason why I want to keep bringing up this pedophilia stuff is because
You love it.
I don't think that that's not a good joke. I don't think that people understand how crazy it is, okay? So I don't think that most people know that 800,000 children go missing from this country alone every year.
Is that children? I thought that was people.
That's children. Just
Really?
children. Yeah. So that's almost 1 million, okay?
Every year. Every year.
Every year. Okay, so what these pedophiles do, now that actually goes into child trafficking and all that kind of stuff.
Sure, no, they get
wanna
taken and sold.
They want to say, oh, it's just people that they know, that, you know, they kidnapped their kid, or their nephew or whatever. I know that happens.
That happens, of course.
I know that happens. But
800,000 times? No.
No. So there's a child trafficking issue going on, not just in this country, the entire world. Okay? And the thing is, you know, these pedophiles, what they do is find jobs so that they can be around children. And in a disgusting way, that makes sense. So my whole thing is to shed light on this and point this out so that people can be like, hey, let me make sure that everything's going on, you know, on the level, on the up and up, and that this fucking person isn't a goddamn pedophile.
Sure.
Because if you think that this is just some random, you know, event that doesn't happen that often, no, man. No.
No, it happens a lot.
It happens a lot. And just look at Penn State. That guy molested hundreds of kids. Look at... If you think your kid, you're putting him in a sports program or whatever.
Look at the guy from Yorkville. Dennis Hastert.
Dennis Hastert.
Sitting in a couch. He would sit in an easy chair and watch the boys shower and be like, why don't you scrub him? Why don't you scrub him? Scrub him a little bit
and
more.
he made it to the leader of the house.
Yeah, he was...
Is your phone fucking on?
My phone is on. Keep talking. Sorry.
And on top of that, look at Dr. Larry Nassar, or whatever the hell his name was. The coach of the USA women's gymnastics team. So, if you think that, you know, your kid's safe just putting them in whatever random program, make sure and look at everyone involved. Because these guys, these pedophiles have reached top level shit. Okay? And I gotta keep putting it out there so that if someone just has a little more awareness, they can see this and hopefully prevent something bad from happening. And I really wish you were over here right now, because the thing we want to talk about is we actually had a pedophile at our high school. This guy, after we, you know, we did our 4 years, Mark and I both went to the same high school, and a couple, I want to say 3 years after we graduated, we found out, we went to a Catholic high school where they had brothers, we found out that this brother was arrested and convicted for pedophilia. What was he trying to do? He was trying to, what he thought was having an internet correspondence with a 12-year-old boy that he wanted to bang. And when he went, that's fine, when he went to go meet the boy, turned out to be an FBI agent.
Yep.
And he got popped. And then they found child porn in his freaking computer. Mm-hmm. And now I never had him as a teacher or in any capacity. But I remember his goofy ass walking through the halls. Well, he was just like, walking, everybody was like saying, but you had him as a guidance counselor.
Let me tell this final story here. Alright, because this is a good one. I think this is an important story that needs to be told. And I don't think a lot of people realize, like, you know, when they deal with someone who's like a pedophile or whatever. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I had this gentleman as both a counselor and as a teacher. Now, I really liked Brother Biet.
Everybody did. Everybody said he was so cool.
He's a cool guy, he's a nice guy, this, that, and the other. So, you know, I had him first as a counselor, and he was a good counselor. He was a nice guy, you know, would talk to me, blah, blah, blah. You could smoke in his office, you know, cigarettes, which
that's what they said. Oh, he was so cool, you could smoke in his office.
And then I had him as a teacher. And he taught a class called Morality. Morality.
Morality?
I never will forget this question. We were talking about, like, you know, sexuality and stuff during this class. And one of the students asked him, was like, oh, Brother Biet, is it okay to masturbate? And Brother Biet said, I sure hope so. And everybody just laughed and laughed and laughed. It was so funny. It was like, oh, bro, come on, you. And we thought it was hilarious. And he actually told us that the place he had worked before, he had been taking care of gay men who were dying of AIDS. Wow, he was taking care of dying men, who were at the last breath. Maybe their family had deserted them. Maybe they had nobody but this brother. And it was just like, at that moment you felt something. Regardless, because you knew he was doing a good thing.
You know what he was doing? Grooming. But go ahead.
What he was doing was basically softening us up, yeah.
He was grooming.
And it was like the moment that I was like, hey, this is a good man. This is a nice man.
Mm-hmm.
And then we graduated school.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw what had happened to him. We saw what he was accused of, soliciting a 12-year-old boy on the internet. That's what he was busted for. And I'll never forget this.
And all the child porn.
I was at the airport about 2 years later. And who do I see? Who the hell do I see? I see him. He had been busted for child pornography, soliciting a 12-year-old boy, and yet he was about to go somewhere on a plane unaccompanied. Can you explain that one to me?
Yeah.
Why was he there by himself, flying away?
Because people in charge that are cool with this give lenient penalties to friggin' pedophiles. Dude.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It goes to the top. Now, he had a class with him and as a guidance counselor.
Sure.
He gets a letter in the mail from a group that says, hey, we've all been molested by this dude, and we tracked you down because you had a class or whatever.
He was your guidance
been
counselor,
molested? Yeah. And if so, you can come in and talk, and there's a whole group of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we literally just found out tonight. Grab your phone and find this shit that we literally.
I put the phone away, but here's the point. No, I got to memorize it.
All right.
No, I got to memorize
it. If you got it.
So, this we found out tonight, that he had been accused of molestation, in Hawaii, in Michigan, in Missouri, and in a New Mexico reservation, right before he came to our school.
He did all that before he came to our school and was roaming the halls like a goof. It's crazy. And I'm going to tell you this. So, that was the thing. I remember talking in the halls. Like, I never had him in any capacity.
Sure.
But I remember everybody being like, he's so cool, man. You could say whatever.
He was a nice guy.
You could smoke in his office. It's all good, okay? So then, a year and a half ago, I'm watching this Netflix documentary called The Keepers.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. Because this goes and exposes a lot of pedophilia, people in the community involved in abusing kids, dude.
But it's not just that there's one person.
Hold on.
They're protecting each other.
Hold on. Yeah, of course, because it's a whole network. So, in that documentary, and this was The Keepers, it took place in the 60s. I don't remember where, but it was nowhere near Chicago. I want to say close to New York. I don't know, but it was nowhere near Chicago. It was the 60s. And this girl, a Catholic priest, at an all-girls school, was molesting these girls, right? And she says, on this goddamn documentary, everybody said he was so cool. They said you could smoke in his office. So if you fucking think that this shit is random, it's not random. It's a playbook. They do this, and they have a system, okay? It's called NAMBLA. Have you heard of NAMBLA? North American Man-Boy Love Association. It's a group of pedophiles trying to figure out the best way to molest and bang kids. Sorry, I'm getting a little fucking upset.
No, hey.
But if you see this thing from way over there in the 60s, and this guy's doing it here in our fucking high school, where we went,
Playbook's the same.
And they're saying the same shit, obviously they have a playbook that they all fucking know about. Alright, I'm pissed off about that, but let me just finish off some...
Wait.
Alright, so, First of all, you're sitting too close.
I'm sitting too close again?
Yeah. We've been on a break for so long that I don't even know where we left off.
Yeah.
So let's just get back to the main story here.
We were talking about Boy Scouts molestation
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Brother Briette. Can I finish the story about Brother Briette?
I don't know if you did or didn't.
I pretty much did. I pretty much solidified it.
Yeah.
But, the fact that he taught us morality. I told you about the fact that, he claimed that he took care of, men who had AIDS and were dying.
Mm-hmm.
But, the fact that he taught us morality. That alone. But that right there alone.
It's just an extra dig.
Yeah. And then... apparently, after we graduated in 1996 to 1998, he was having some sort of sexual relations with one of the students.
We already talked about all that. We did.
Yeah, no, I understand, but
Yeah.
that was, that's just horrible, man. It's just
Disgusting.
god awful.
It's disgusting.
Go ahead, now it's yours.
Alright, so let's get back to this Boy Scout story. And then I want to, I'll just give one example here of
Sure.
your lawsuits. And then I got some stories to tell.
The house about to collapse.
Yeah. A former Boy Scout accused former Scoutmaster Douglas Nail of Troop 565 in Depew in a lawsuit of molesting him from... wait, I said that all wrong.
Go ahead.
A former Boy Scout accused former Scoutmaster Douglas Nail in this troop of molesting him from 83 to 87 when he was 11 to 15 years old. Okay. And so this guy, Nail, is his last name, he got kicked out after he was accused of fondling a Boy Scout during a sleepover at his apartment. The Scout records do not indicate that the Boy Scouts notified law enforcement officers about the allegation. So, once again, are they covering it up? Kind of seems like it. Nail, this guy, was a coach for the Depew Saints Hockey Club when he was arrested in 2004. So once again, as I've said, they try to find jobs around children.
Hockey players.
These fucking pedophiles. And then he got charged of possessing more than 600 images of child pornography. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2004. So... By the way, having like one image of child pornography is pretty fucking disgusting.
Great.
600.
That's a lot
literally
worse.
1, 2 images, because like, I think what people don't think about or realize is like, one image of a child being abused is like, that's a whole fucking thing, man.
That's bad.
That's a whole thing.
But he
This
didn't
kid-
stop at one. Okay, he's not like, one child abuse, 2 child abuse. He's like, can I get 100, 200, 600? You know what I mean? The amount of children that had to have been abused,
and who
or had
knows?
been whatever the hell happened.
Who knows
to
what
them.
happed to these kids after?
Are they killed, or are they
in
to
the
keep
scene?
silent?
Probably, most likely killed. All right, that's disgusting. Let me ask you this:
What's that?
were you ever in the Boy Scouts?
I was for a short time.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was weird because my family was Polish, so we didn't know how to do things in the Boy Scouts. Because, they would hand us, things like, here, whittle yourself a car and whittle yourself a boat. And I didn't know what the hell. They would just give it to me, and I'd be like, what am I supposed to do with this? And my dad was like, that's all he'd give to me. And so I would, I literally dyed the boat with food dye. And so when you put it in the water, it would make the fucking water just turn the color of the boat. And I stuck a Jaws sticker on it, which was appropriate because there was all this blood in the water from the boat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I had no idea what the hell they wanted me to do. And it was I'm like this foreign-born person, Well, I'm not foreign-born, but my family is, and they don't understand how this works, right?
Your first language was Polish.
Zhobra.
Yeah.
And, and so it was the horrible experience because I had no, Cub Scout mentor, but now I realize I am so glad I did not have
You're
one.
probably better
because
off
he would
that
have
you
offended
didn't.
me.
He might have been a goddamn pedophile. So I was in the Boy Scouts for a couple of years.
Yeah, what happened there?
And thankfully, nothing happened, but I got a couple interesting stories.
Yeah,
number one, I remember going to a video store. So like back in the day, boys and girls, they used to have something called video stores, and you would go there and rent videos. And I went there with my friend who was in the troop with me and his dad, and I remember walking in, and the scoutmaster was walking out of the porno section with like about 3 or 4 fucking tapes.
Nice.
And I'm just saying, like, hey, maybe drive an extra 15 minutes and go somewhere where
where your scout,
where all the kids don't live in that neighborhood. You know, take an extra fucking 20 minutes and go there.
And it was nothing but gay porn, and you're like, oh god, and he's like, oh god.
By the way, I have a porn story.
Go ahead.
Tell the porn story.
Tell the porn story, because that's the highlight of this moment right
Well,
here.
then we're gonna get back to more
whatever,
Boy Scout
you
shit.
wanna go,
So, in our like circle of friends, our little group, you know, back in the day, I was the oldest, and I turned 18.
Turned 18 a month
anyone,
ahead of any of
right?
us.
A real big shot. I was a fucking cool guy, because I turned 18 before anybody. So the first thing as a group we wanted to do is go to a porn store and buy a porn tape, right? We were all excited. We gotta go do this. And so we went to this really seedy, fucking just creepy ass porn shop.
It was a porn shop / liquor store.
Yeah. And
So that tells you a lot.
Probably the age limit should have been at least like 45. Because it was weird, dude. And I was 18
That was how old you had to be to masturbate in the back.
I was walking in there like a real fucking cool guy. And there were back rooms with curtains and porns going on. And dudes making noises. And I was like, holy shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here as soon as possible.
The floor was really sticky too, remember?
And it was sticky as hell. And so, because of the bubble gum.
Oh, okay.
Not, you know.
Because of the jizz.
Nah. So then I was like, okay, let me get this, like the pressure's on. I gotta buy a porn for all my friends.
Yes, yes.
And so here, I like lesbian shit. Listen, everybody likes their own shit.
Everyone likes lesbian.
Everybody's got their own thing.
Everyone likes lesbian porn. That's a fact.
I like lesbian porn. So I picked out this particular film.
What was it called?
Slave Sisters.
Why did you go straight for incest?
I didn't know that
You didn't know that they were sisters?
Believe that they were sisters.
They were sisters, and they were slaves to this very maniacal.
They didn't look
mistress.
anything like each other. Okay, there was no physical resemblance.
Yeah.
It was just a
well,
title.
no, she was.
So
she
I
was
got
mad
this
at them.
movie, Slave Sisters, and then I brought it home, and I got the fuck out of there. Right? I think I tipped the guy.
Yeah.
At the counter. Like, I was like, just take all my money, and I ran out.
He looked at the video, gave you like a wink, and was like, I know what you're into.
I ran out, scared for my life, while dudes were jerking off in the back room. Gross. So then we went, weirdly enough, and we popped it on, and here we thought this was some sort of, lesbian porn.
Well, we wanted to watch it, right? And then we were going to, like, hand it off to each other for masturbation.
It was like, well, no, don't be crass.
Don't be crass, but
it was like a triumph. Like, now we can officially, someone's an adult. We can buy porn.
Sure.
So then we popped it on, and it was nothing but girls just beating the shit out of each other.
Beating each other and beating. No sex.
Whipping and no, there was no sex whatsoever.
It was just violent.
It was just violent beating of lady genitals, and we all sat there in silence.
It was kind of scary.
For an hour and a half.
You shouldn't have taken the acid.
No, and then, well, I didn't. I know you did. But, and then everybody just, like, went home, like, a little, like, worse off than we were.
We were less friends after that moment somehow than we had been before, because we had been through something that you'd think should have brought us together, but no. It actually caused a psychic rift.
Yeah, it actually scarred us.
Yeah.
I would say. So anyways, back to the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
Let me tell this fucking story. So we're talking about this, like, pedophilia shit that they got going on. Okay, so I went to a camping trip. Mm-hmm. This place called Napawan.
Sure.
And this was like the shit. This was like the all ultimate trip. You go there for a week, right? You fuck around. You can shoot guns. You can shoot bow and arrows. You do all the cool shit, right? You're there for a week. So the first thing I signed up for was rifle orientation. You're trying to win badges or some shit. I don't know. So we went to the rifle orientation, and everybody's sitting there, and the guy who's giving the orientation, he was an adult, fucking, you know, Boy Scout dude, older guy, and he's like saying, oh, you know, these are the safety rules we have to follow, and you have to do this. And then he's like, excuse me, children, I'll be right back. And then he leaves, and we're all just sitting there like,
sure,
okay, I don't know, he's going to take a shit, whatever, you know, he's going to do his drugs. And then he comes back dressed as a woman.
You told me this story, and I can't believe I forgot this story.
And he's not dressed like a RuPaul fucking, you know, sassy bitch or anything like that. No, he's very drab. He has a dress on now, a wig. He's got it's kind of like Psycho.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very dark, weird thing. And a few of us.
He's feeling it though.
He's feeling it, and a few of us are like, ha 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 ha. Right, but he's stone faced.
No,
he just sat there, looking at everybody, and he looked like the church lady. He looked a little bit like I was like, "Oh, church lady, here we go."
So yeah.
Except no church lady. He just started talking in a female voice, and he was like, "You boys have to listen to the rules and regulations," and it was kind of fucking weird.
So what happened?
Well, nothing happened on my end. I knew to stay the fuck away from that guy. But
What do you mean? It was just like one out of the blue, he dressed as a woman, never again dressed as a woman?
Not in front of me. I just went, that was the orientation.
No
Came
kidding.
out weird, looking like that.
But didn't he give a reason why he dressed as a woman? Like maybe like, oh, I'm a damsel in distress, you're gonna save me from the world or something.
No. He literally just came out looking like that. And that was it. There was uneasy laughter, and he just...
He's clearly a transvestite, and he was clearly being like, hey, these are the kids that are gonna finally understand me. I look at these faces, this guy right here, this Doug Rodriguez, he knows what I'm feeling. He knows what I'm going through. Was it something like that at least?
No.
Alright.
You fucking goof.
Sorry.
So then, yeah, there was that weird, creepy thing, and God just, who knows what the hell that guy was up to, because obviously it was very inappropriate and strange. Yeah. And now that these stories come out with all the molestations and the Boy Scouts thing. Alright, so my last story.
Okay.
This is the last story.
Go ahead.
And then we're going to do the Would You
What
Rather.
would you rather? Go ahead.
So we're at Nappawan. We got a...
How many times did you go there?
Just the one, dude. Just
okay.
the one. But it was a week-long thing. So we're here, we got to set up a whole camp, right? So we built a rope bridge just to have fun, right? So there was like a rope on the bottom with some rope handles and we walk around. All right, so we're there, we're all, you know, having a good time. The scout masters leave, probably to go bang kids, or watch pornography. And then we're just there as the kids, just left alone to our own devices. Whatever. And there was this, there were two brothers. And the younger brother was fucking crazy, okay? The older brother was cool, he was with us. But the younger kid was a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And so he's walking the rope bridge. And one of the guys in our troop just thought it would be funny to grab his legs and pull him down and start like yanking him down and grinding his genitals on the rope fucking bridge.
You didn't find that funny,
Yeah, I really did, and I was like, man, this is crazy that this is happening, but I'm glad that's not me, but yeah, this is crazy. And he was fucking yanking him down on the rope bridge on his fucking nuts, and then he fucking let the kid go.
Yeah.
And that kid went fucking crazy, dude. He started running around trying to fight all of us, me included. I was like, it was just him. And we're like, fighting him off,
man.
right? And then he's just going around like a goddamn Tasmanian devil. Then he goes into the equipment tent.
Sure.
Comes out with an axe.
Uh-oh.
and he's waving it around. And we're like, oh fuck, he's got an axe. But it had the sheath on it.
Oh, thank God.
Right? Until he realized that it had the sheath on it. And then he was like, oh fuck it. Then he tried to take the sheath off.
Sure.
We tackled the fuck out of him.
Good.
Right? And we're like, we're fighting this kid. We throw him in the fucking tent. We're like, you know, we're trying to exit out. We're fighting him. He's in the fucking tent. We zip the tent up. We have it tied to a rope. We stake it in the ground. And we all go sit down and we're like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe how fucking crazy that was. And what are we going to say when the right? The scoutmaster gets back? And it was quiet for a second. And then we started hearing screaming. And then we're looking at each other and we're like, we're down a man. Where's the kid's brother? The kid's brother was in the tent with him. Mm-hmm. Getting beat the shit out of. So then we had to go and pull the stake out of the ground. We had to unzip it, extract him, push him back in, put the whole thing in, and then when the scoutmasters got back, he finally had calmed down. And nobody.
So it's a happy ending.
Yeah, it was like don't ask, don't tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good for you. All right. Those were some good stories.
So Boy Scouts is
don't go.
God damn it!
Don't go into the Boy
Scouts. Dice. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
No matter which way you do it. All right, let's do
which would you? Which would you?
All right, I got one for you.
Go.
In this scenario,
Yes.
you're in a relationship.
I am.
We both are.
With
a crazy person.
Gotcha.
Fucking psycho. Okay. So which would you rather? With this person is making you do this. Would you rather be that couple that sits on the same side of the booth for an evening out when everybody's out and you sit on the same side of the booth? Or would you rather be with this person wearing a matching outfit going to a party that isn't like a Halloween party? You're just going out for the night, but you're wearing matching clothes. Which would you rather?
Obviously sitting on the same side of the booth. I really I don't care about the same side of the booth. I'm not going to a party like a madman dressed the same as my partner. Like, what the hell, did we come up with this and think it's a funny joke? We're at the party together. I'm not going to do that. I'll sit on the same side of the booth while everyone stares at us.
Everyone's going to stare at you.
But
and think that you're
I'm not going to be a madman and dress the same. So that's an easy one.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're cool. You'll feel no weirdness at all sitting on the same side of the booth at a fancy restaurant or like
no
an intermediate restaurant.
Not really.
It is.
Not when it's compared to the other one.
You guys take your. She's like, you know, obviously come sit by me, and you can't talk to each other across from the thing. You're just sitting there on the same side of the booth.
Because hopefully she's wanking me off, you know. Because now she can reach.
Wanking you off?
Wanking me off. I'm British. No, but jokes aside, I'd rather sit on the side. If this is a real question, I'd rather sit on the same side of the booth, of course.
I'd probably go with that. Mm-hmm. But I have to say that the same side of the booth shit, you know, it's got to stop. It needs to stop.
Yeah, people.
Listen, take a stand. Make this.
Yeah. Make this
go away.
Please.
Nobody like it. It's awkward for everyone in the fucking room.
You bastards.
And I'll say, if you're at a party, yeah, I know you show up and you're wearing the same clothes, but at least you could like separate.
Stand in different corners.
You go mingle, and everyone goes around, and what you try to do is avoid her.
Where did you see this? That people wore matching outfits.
You've never heard of couples wearing matching?
Never heard, never seen. I've heard of twins doing it because their parents forced them to.
There's couples that go out wearing matching clothes.
Well, they should be put down. Same as a rabid dog.
Go look at the flowers.
Alright, well.
Alright, this is another episode
It's another episode in the books, folks. So you better watch it, and if you don't watch it, alright. But if you do watch it, thank you.
And also tell everybody to like and subscribe. We want all the
Please like and subscribe.
We want it.
If we don't get this, we're probably gonna just something bad's
Keep
gonna happen.
doing this.
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. All right.
But